So, if you went to Universal Studios recently, you may have seen a whole bunch of Harry Potter rides all over the place. They probably made you curious and nostalgic, so you go to watch the entire Harry Potter film franchise. And, to your surprise, the Harry Potter franchise isn't even a Universal film franchise. What? Hey everyone! Welcome to Film Pack, the show where we deep dive into major Hollywood facts and theories. Now, I'll be honest, Universal not owning the Harry Potter franchise, but having multiple feature rides in their parks is just confusing. Yet, it also draws into perspective the complexity of the media empire that is Hollywood. In today's video, I'll be diving deeper into that empire and showing what franchises are with which group. To preface, each major media group has a bunch of different facets: a television channel, a film studio, a news organization, a sports organization, a children's media group, and a streaming service that they use primarily. Today, we'll be examining each major facet within each major media group. Starting off, we have Comcast. Comcast's media group includes one of the oldest television channels of all time, the National Broadcasting Company, or NBC. NBC is widely known for its comedy shows, such as Seinfeld, Cheers, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Friends, and The Office. NBC's late-night television is one of the greatest of all time, with Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien, and Jimmy Fallon having all hosted The Tonight Show. NBC is also famous for its crime drama series Law and Order, as well as its reality competitions, America's Got Talent and American Ninja Warrior. On top of all that is the famous sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live.
I know just the place for you. New York's hottest club is
Jelly Bones.
Comcast's film studio is Universal Pictures, which is probably most famous for its films directed by the great Steven Spielberg, including Jaws, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Jurassic Park. Universal is also famous for its Fast and Furious franchise starring Vin Diesel and the late Paul Walker. They primarily stream on Peacock. Comcast's news channel is NBC News with major anchor Lester Holt and others. Its sports channel is NBC Sports, which features Sunday Night Football, NBA and college basketball, and the Olympic Games. Its children's media group is the recently acquired DreamWorks Animation, featuring Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon, and Despicable Me. More recently, NBC has acquired the rights to the Mario gaming franchise's film rights and has had 2 major Mario films hit theaters. Our second media group is Viacom, which has a major television channel of its own, CBS. CBS is probably best known for its crime dramas like NCIS, Blue Bloods, Criminal Minds, and CSI. CBS is also well known for a lot of old TV shows like MASH, The Andy Griffith Show, The Waltons, Murder, She Wrote, Walker, Texas Ranger, Perry Mason, and Diagnosis Murder. CBS is also very well known for its comedy shows, The Big Bang Theory, Two Broke Girls, and How I Met Your Mother. Its reality TV lineup is second to none, featuring shows like The Amazing Race, Survivor, Big Brother. They also have one of the longest-running lines of game shows that include The Price is Right and Wheel of Fortune. Their late-night host Stephen Colbert is set to retire at the end of this season, marking the end of The Late Show after its decades-long run. Viacom's film production studio is Paramount Pictures. Paramount has been around for decades and is most famous for the iconic Mafia trilogy The Godfather, starring Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. Paramount is also well connected with one of the greatest actors of all time, Tom Cruise, who stars in both the Top Gun and Mission Impossible franchises. They've acquired the Transformers franchise and the Terminator franchise from other studios, and acquired the film rights to video game character Sonic the Hedgehog. They primarily stream on Paramount+. Their news channel is CBS News, and their current late-night anchor is Tony Dokapil, taking over for 60 Minutes host Norah O'Donnell. Their sports channel is CBS Sports, which carries the Masters Golf Tournament, NFL football games, which can include the Super Bowl periodically, and annual coverage of the NCAA Men's College Basketball Tournament and Final Four. Its children's media group is Nickelodeon, which is famous for its preschool shows, including Blue's Clues, Dora the Explorer, The Backyardigans, its preteen shows like Zoe 101, Drake and Josh, Victorious, and iCarly, and its animated shows, including The Fairly OddParents and SpongeBob SquarePants. Next up, we have the monster media company that everyone knows about, the Walt Disney Company. I don't think this company needs any introduction. This company is a giant. Just look at its film lineup. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, Disney acquired Marvel Studios and Lucasfilms, giving them two of the most iconic film franchises of all time, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Star Wars. By the late 2010s, Disney acquired 20th Century Fox and all of its film rights. This included films like Avatar, the X-Men, and the Planet of the Apes franchises. Disney also has its own major film franchises, including the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, starring Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. On TV, Disney has a number of assets to work with. They have their own children's TV channels that we'll touch on later, but they also own the American Broadcasting Company. ABC has given us a number of outstanding dramas, including Grey's Anatomy, The Rookie, Lost, and NYPD Blue, but they've also had some outstanding comedies like Happy Days, Home Improvement, Modern Family, The Brady Bunch, and Boy Meets World. Their late-night host is Jimmy Kimmel, who hosts Jimmy Kimmel Live. Disney's news organization is ABC News, anchored by many, including George Stephanopoulos. While ABC does carry a bunch of sports events, such as NCAA football's College Game Day and the NBA Finals, their sports organization is the iconic ESPN network, which features shows like SportsCenter and First Take starring Stephen A. Smith and routinely featuring Chris Mad Dog Russo. However, we all know the Walt Disney Company did not start out as an everyday media company. Walt Disney was a children's entertainer and became the face of children's entertainment all the way until his death in 1966. Walt Disney helped produce some of the most iconic films for children ever. These included Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Peter Pan, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and Alice in Wonderland. Even after Walt's death, Disney has continued to create amazing films for children. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Disney produced a number of classics, including The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and The Lion King. In the mid-1990s, Disney released its first film under subsidiary animation studio Pixar with its brand new 3D animation. Since then, Toy Story has become the most iconic children's film franchise of all time. Other Pixar films include Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Cars, Inside Out, WALL-E, and Monsters, Inc. Since then, Walt Disney Animation Studios has switched to 3D animation with Tangled, Frozen, Zootopia, and Moana taking the forefront. Disney also started its own television channels for children that really became a hit in the mid-2000s. The Disney Channel provided teens with various shows like Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, while also showcasing television movies like Camp Rock, The Cheetah Girls, and High School Musical. Animated shows like Gravity Falls and Phineas and Ferb were also prominent members of the Disney Channel. Disney is also famous for its preschool Disney Junior shows like Handy Manny, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Doc McStuffins, and Sophia the First. Finally, we have the media giant Time Warner and their infamous film studio Warner Brothers. Warner Bros. Has been around for a long time and is responsible for a number of amazing film franchises. In the 2000s, they had some of their most iconic, including Harry Potter, the Dark Knight trilogy, and The Matrix. They also acquired New Line Cinema, famous for producing the Lord of the Rings trilogy, where each film was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, with the third film winning the Oscar in 2003. Warner Bros. Also owns the iconic DC Comics franchise, which features not only Batman, but also Superman and Wonder Woman. More recently, their most prominent franchises have been the MonsterVerse with Godzilla and King Kong, as well as the Dune franchise starring Timothée Chalamet. They also produced two of the most watched films in the last few years, Barbie and a Minecraft movie. Warner Bros. Owns HBO Max for right now, meaning that they own all their major streaming television dramas, Game of Thrones, The Sopranos, and Euphoria. Their most notable comedy show is White Lotus, starring Sydney Sweeney. For late-night TV, they have Real Talk with political commentator Bill Maher. For its news channel, Warner Bros. Owns CNN and their host of anchors, including Dana Bash and Anderson Cooper. Their sports channel runs through Turner Sports and features coverage of the NCAA tournament and Major League Baseball. Previously, Turner was most noted for its 36-year run as one of the premier broadcasters of the NBA. Their Thursday night show, Inside the NBA, went mainstream and included many of the NBA's most iconic stars on its panel, including Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. In 2025, Turner and the NBA did not renew broadcasting rights, and the Inside the NBA crew was moved to ESPN and Disney. For children's media, Warner Bros. Owns Cartoon Network and some of the most iconic characters in children's media history. These characters include Scooby-Doo, Tom and Jerry, the Flintstones, and all the Looney Tunes characters, including Bugs Bunny. Cartoon Network even has some of its own major TV shows like Adventure Time, Regular Show, and Teen Titans. They also carried all seasons of the Total Drama franchise. Outside of those four major giants, there are a number of other major media organizations. The most notable streaming service has to be Netflix. It was the first major streaming site and has a number of major series including Cobra Kai, Ozark, Squid Game, 13 Reasons Why, and Stranger Things. The two other major film studios are Sony and Lionsgate. Sony is most famous for owning the Spider-Man franchise and working with Disney and Tom Holland to bring Spider-Man into the MCU. On top of that, Sony owns Venom, Ghostbusters, Jumanji, Hotel Transylvania, and Men in Black. Lionsgate is most notable for both the John Wick franchise and the Hunger Games. The other sports media channel is Fox Sports, which covers the NFL, the World Series, college basketball, NASCAR, and IndyCar. Fox also has a prominent news channel with a host of anchors, including Brett Baer and Sean Hannity. Finally, children's television wouldn't be complete without shows from the Public Broadcasting Service, funded by viewers like you and me. These include Arthur, Clifford the Big Red Dog, Cyberchase, Teletubbies, Mr. Rogers, and of course, Sesame Street. Overall, Hollywood's business ventures have stayed consistent over the past few decades. The major film studios have dazzled audiences across the nation and around the world. Hollywood is continuing to create role models out of bright young stars, and they continue to create amazing experiences year after year. I can't wait to see what the future holds. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. So long for now.